It is Ahsoka Tano Wednesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This morning we can play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation. We start with the first of 4 phases of mindful crease counting. The luxury, that's what I was supposed to modify. The luxury electric vehicle of mindfulness and meditation traverses the smooth road afforded to us by Anu Yoga's energy work. There are many flavors of energy work. Find the most efficient to be mudra or finger gesture oriented. So we're going to begin our first of 4 collections of our right hand's 8 repetitions and our left hand's 8 sets. Let me illustrate for you how that works. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we can advance our right thumb thusly, beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We multiply this by 8 by counting sets on our left hand. 1, 2 sets of 8 repetitions. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 8 repetitions. Now, I mentioned that this is our first of 4 collections of 64 repetitions. We keep track of that by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap, thumbs up. Thus, gently inviting our subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Now that we know what to do with our fingers, let us determine what to do with our mind. The what if enlightenment was nothing more than getting so good at Buddha's Eightfold Path, as simply mastering the Buddha's Eightfold Path. No infant is born knowing how to use the toilet, or tie their shoes, or ride a bike, or brush their teeth. But through time and effort and instruction and trial and error, by the time a child enters 1st grade, they are so good at those things that they practice them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. That is what mastery is all about. What I hope to show you this morning is that through the cunning practice of mindfulness, the 7th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, and meditation, the 8th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, the master of the remaining 6 folds is effortless. And towards that end, let's begin by exploring the neuroscience of mindfulness and meditation after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. What could that look like? It was said that Gautama the Buddha had a foolish cousin named Devadatta, who could be described as being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Since the Neolithic Revolution, most humans are this way. Fortunately, a minority strive to follow in the footsteps of Gautama the Buddha and instead be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. You know, there's something strange going on with OBS. I wish to address that real quick. Maybe it's the settings. Maybe it is stream. Hope I can't do that because it's in motion right now. Okay, maybe it's output. Streaming. Is there a buffer? Okay, let's get back over here. Scene transitions, duration. Okay. Oh well, so much for that. Let's continue. Now, most of us are so rigid and controlling that we look down our noses at the minority who try to be flexible and laid back. But the sad thing is, when rigid people try to teach meditation, they wind up instructing their students to focus and to analyze. Now, the only parts of our brain capable of that are the discrete neural pathways ensconced within specific regions, such as the medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Overwork this region, and it triggers our amygdala, which is the seat of anxiety and aggression, which are the opposite things we want to get out of meditation. Fortunately, our central nervous system is composed of more than just a prefrontal cortex and an amygdala. Good morning. Consider mindfulness. Every time we breathe in, whether we know it or not, we are already wired, thanks to evolution, to access our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us notice in a very special way. To help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But notice what? Notice mind's antics of perception. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, such as emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Now, this can seem like a tall order. How's about a hook to hang your hat on? By silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we induce our brain to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system. But what are we to do with all these things that we notice? Enter meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are already wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. The easiest way to practice this meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, thus inducing our brain to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system, thus causing our central nervous system to so release what we perceived during our previous inhalation that it could feel impermanent. It could feel as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand? So together as a team, for the about 64 breaths, about 64 inhalations. Let us play with this exercise. And remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist mindfulness, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. We now turn to our second of 4 phases of mindful crease counting. During this second collection, we will accumulate 8, or we will count 8 repetitions on our right hand, and on our left hand we will count 8 sets of those same repetitions. Oops, let's hit button 4. So over the span of 8 breaths, we could advance our right thumb thusly. 1, 2, always beginning with the left little finger. Always beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can multiply that by 8 using our left hand, where we count not repetitions but sets. 1, 2 repetitions. Let's try this again. 1, 2 sets of 8 repetitions. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 8 repetitions. Now, we talked about this being the second collection. We keep track of that by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap, thus gently inviting our subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. So over the next 3 exercises, I would like to, or 3 collections, I would like to explore the 4 benefits of the regular practice of mindfulness and meditation. So when I mention the 4 practices, I mean the regular practice of mindfulness and meditation. The most efficient way to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The most efficient way to relax into mind's non-graspable nature is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Doing so helps us to let go of what we perceived during our previous inhalation, thus enhancing our experience of impermanence and emptiness. So think of it this way. Ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. Impermanence makes of grasping an absurdity. With each exhalation, that which we noticed during a previous inhalation could feel less graspable, and that non-graspability could be explored with the simile of a vast empty void. So an example of a non-graspable vast empty void would be the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand. So when we see something as emptiness, we're just simply saying that as we relax into our exhalation, it feels as non-graspable as the blue sky. So now together as a team, let us practice. We come now to the third of four phases of mindful crease counting. We keep track of our third collection of 64 repetitions divided between 8 repetitions counted on the right hand and 8 sets counted upon the left hand. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb thusly: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can multiply that by 8 using our left hand to count not reps but sets. Our first and then second set of 8 repetitions, our third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth set of 8 repetitions. Now, I mentioned that this was our third collection. We could keep track of that by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap, thus gently inviting our subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. I like to explore the second benefit of regularly training in mindfulness and meditation, understanding that the essence of mindfulness is just to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and the essence of meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Practice this regularly, and you will calm the anxiety and aggression of your almond-sized amygdala, or at least your almond-shaped amygdala. So together as a team, let us practice right now. We come now to our fourth and, oopsie, I think I skipped something. Did I skip one? It kind of feels like I did. So let's go over here. The third benefit of the trainings of mindfulness and meditation is that not only does it calm the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala, but it stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the seat, or it functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, the root of compassion and love. You see, 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness, kind intention, kind communication, kind conduct, and kind commerce. And it's facilitated simply through mindfulness and meditation. This brings us now to the fourth and final phase of mindful crease counting. Where upon our right hand we will count 8 repetitions, and upon our left hand we will count 8 sets. And by way of review, allow me to illustrate how that works. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can multiply that by 8 for a total of 64 using our left hand. First set of 8 repetitions, second set, third set, fourth set of 8 repetitions, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth set of 8 repetitions. Now, I mentioned that this is our 4th collection. So what that means is that we will be resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap, palms up, thus inviting our subtle energies to coalesce at the crown of our head. So the most efficient way to practice awareness of mind's antics is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. In the most efficient way to relax into mind's non-graspable nature is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. The more you do that, the more you will find that our choices, utterances, and deeds begin to flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. Not scattered spontaneity, but centered spontaneity. This is the 6th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. And like everything else we've looked at, the effortless propitiation, the effortless forward-flowing motion of mindfulness and meditation. May we joyfully relax into the perfect imperfections of our Buddha nature. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 7¼ hours, I would very much like to return to today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.